longing to meet to really have him on this program. And here we are set to have this wonderful interview with this special guest of mine today. My guest for today is the chairman of the Local Government Council Area Delta State. Ladies and of course, the former national president in EKIYOR Youth Council. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Honorable Dr. Chris EKIYOR. Sir, you're most welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you, Shay.
I know I'm not done justice to your pedigree, sir. Can we meet you properly?
I think that you got it all correct. I was even wondering if I have all those qualities with which you try to throw me off. But I'm simply called Chris EKIYOR. And I like to be recognized more as an activist than anything else.
Activism and politics. Is there any correlation?
They are birds of the same feather. Basically like two brothers of different mother. Have brothers. So in activism, you see the problems. In politics, you seek solution. That's how it works. And it's just unfortunate that in the political climate, back here, 50% or more of the time, people don't deal with the solution. They just pass the buck and keep complaining. Otherwise, I think activism and politics are supposed to complement one another. The activists agitate for the right things to be done in society and criticize the policies of government, fault the issues arising from poor governance, and it's expected that the political class will look into those issues and then begin to redress or address the shortfalls. That's how it's supposed to work, complementing one another. Unfortunately, here in the third world, particularly in Africa, it looks like they have war with one another.
All right, you say in activism you see a problem, in policy solution. Let me ask you, you are in politics. What solution have you?
I keep telling people that with my background as an activist and then I'm a political unionist.
Okay.
So I preach what I do. So finding myself in the political space, especially as a chairman with some executive powers, I bring to fore the same issues which I've seen as problem, and I'm now trying to solve them at that microcosm level of local governance. So we talk about disconnect between the ruling class and the ruled. We talked about underdevelopment. We talk about marginalization. We talk about neglect by the ruling class, and it creates a divide, an invisible wall between those who are ruled and those ruling. So now I find myself performing the function of leading at the grassroots, which of course is the bedrock of development. I haven't championed the cause of wanting to address the neglect of the people in government, out of government, and then I'm in government. I think what I'm doing today is addressing those issues that I thought that government should have addressed. And they're very clear. Issues of social services to the people, issues of infrastructure, issues of transparent governance. Those are the three thrusts of what I do as a local government chairman. And it has been the clarion call I have put forward ever since I've been running activism. I've always said that government must connect with its people. Government must provide services for the people. Government must build infrastructure, because it's only when you build infrastructure that you can industrialize a place. And for Patani local government, where I'm from, we have our peculiar challenges. It is beginning to be a cosmopolitan city. It's on the east-west road. It's not in the suburb. It's partially riverine and upland, so you can connect us both by road and via the river. Now, because it's beginning to be cosmopolitan, the existing extant local government rules really don't apply, so much so because, for instance, I'm expected to tax owners of canoes, tax maybe owners of bicycles, tax maybe farmers and produce. And in generating that IGR, I'm also expected to now provide markets, local hospitals, farm schools, education and all that. But what I see is that, including the states and the 774 local governments, we are all just a center of receptors who wait for the oil money to accumulate, and then they share it, and whatever you get, you pay salaries, you pay recurrent expenditure, and what is left to put in development. So, as an evolving democracy, Nigeria needs to begin to look at industrialization, internally generated revenue. Most local governments without allocation cannot function. That includes my local government. We are at zero IGR local government, for instance, when I came. And, excuse me, we're only struggling now to pop up the IGRO. And you can imagine a local government with over 59,000 persons generating about 2-3 million a year. That cannot even service the generators running in the council because we don't have power, we don't have good roads, we don't have water. And so, coming from the background of citizen, I think that we need to solve this problem, but we take it one at a time and small. So, in the last 10 months, I've been able to put transformers in the city.
That's the question I want to ask. So what do you see as your major challenges? Your major achievements so far?
So, in the last 10 months, I've been able to put 33 kV step-down transformer to augment the existing 2.5 MVA, which is overloaded because the town is expanding. I've been able to consistently support socially by paying bills for the entire local government electricity bill, and therefore taking the burden of the common man who has no job, who must pay this fixed rate, about 3,000 or so per household. And I've been able to provide free medical care as a doctor. In everything that I do, I try to give it some medical touch. I know that health is wealth, and if people are healthy, then they're likely to be more productive in terms of the workforce. So what we've been doing, arising from the flood, because immediately the flood was over, we were most hit in the Delta, and the facilities of government were broken down in terms of health care. We have taken over the process of ensuring that the 10 primary health care centers are functioning as cottage hospitals to provide free medical care for women and children and the old. And now we have expanded to accommodate all those who can come out for outpatient. So I think that in the area of health, which is called to manage, we met a school system that it's failing. We pay teachers' salary, and yet the people are not benefiting because some of the teachers are spent forces. Some of them are already are already tired of the job because they do the same thing over these 20-30 years and are just going to school now because it's the only job they have. So we created a template where we source for core members, youth core members who come in, and then we motivate them and get them to teach in primary and secondary schools. And in doing that, we have technically upgrading and cutting up new roads because we upgraded as the council, we fixed those, we cut out new roads. So earth roads have been created, and we're also dealing with the issue of drains because we're a predominantly swamp area, and so we're creating water channels, building drains. And really, if you visit Patani local government, you will be amazed that what we've been able to do in these 10 months is surpassing what was done in 12 years. Now, the difference between what we're doing now and what we're doing then is that whereas I am coming from a background of active criticism of governance, I could not afford to maintain the status quo of over-bloated government expenditure. Because what happens all the time is that it's not that politicians just go take the money and spend it. It's that the money comes and there's a lot of recurrent expenditure. You want to fix vehicles, you want to fix generators, you want to pay staff salaries, you want to pay allowances, you want to pay claims, you want to attend seminars and workshops, you want to travel to social functions. And when you build all those burdens on governance, you find out that your recurrent expenditure is sometimes overbloated. What we have done is to cut down to only things that we think are relevant and useful, and the surpluses will add to whatever excess could we get from time to time to build infrastructure. So the council is wearing a new look, and the people, majority of the people are happy. Certainly, you can't please everybody. Some of them will complain either because we've not done what they expect us to do in certain areas, or because they personally have not benefited. And that's how governance is. You really cannot get everybody to benefit.
Just want to quickly ask you, your GR is very small. And for research, we found out that you've done so well in the local government. Because why do you do the research to do all these things?
Yes, in the federation account is something that's public, and from time to time is what you call the excess school disbursement of funds. Outside the statutory allocation that comes to local government, for which most of the capital expenditure, the current expenditures are managed, particularly in my local government, where we are overburdened with too much staff and workforce, over and above the necessary number that we would have needed. But that is the only industry in place. It's a land of opportunity because of its location, but people have really not tapped on it. We have vast land for agriculture, for timber and logging. We have beautiful sand deposits for the glass industry. Unfortunately, nobody has championed that because we're walking the roads, we're talking to people to come and invest in the area to deal with the IGL. So what I have done is to wait for excess crude each time it comes and push it on capital project. And I say one thing at a time, but small. A whole lot we could do, but you don't want to bite more than you could chew. So we're taking the small things and fixing them. Talk about roads, talk about access to security, peace. And lately we're working a project on a PPP. PPP basis is to provide an ultra-modern market and a housing facility. We're looking at doing 50 units of housing, 2-bedroom, low-cost housing, and we're looking at building this market. I grew up in Patani, for instance, and this market used to be the next biggest nature market in the Niger Delta area. What I'm saying is that in the time past, as a growing child, early 70s, I used to go with my grandmom to that market. So Patani is strategically located on the river on the flank of the Niger, Lower River Niger, between Onitsha and Warri. And between Onitsha and Patani, you have the Aboa-speaking people, the Kwales and all that. There are some people who drift down towards the lower delta to buy fish, gogoro, brigin, and all that stuff. Now, between Patani and Warri, you also have people drifting up the river Niger to go get farm equipment, fertilizers, fishing nets, clothing. So Patani was like a hub. Those from the Onitsha axis moving those clothing and those modern equipment that they have, electronics, into the market. And those from the down creek bringing gin, fish, gari, starch. So it's a hub. Rather than travel from Warri all the way to Onitsha, or from Onitsha all the way to Warri, there's a meeting point, conference in Patani. So we have this very busy 12 days market. And from that time till now, it's not been built. We just started some open shops now. It's just a local ramshackle structure that was the market in the waterfront. We're building it up, putting it into modern toilets, putting a fire service station, getting to renovate an existing garage. That is the idea is to make the market befitting of the new cosmopolitan look of Patani. It's demanding, but myself and the transition committee member are achieving this because we decided to be selfless.
Challenges?
A lot of challenges. First, the people expect so much from the local government. As it is today, local government will not have the capacity to do so much. Anyway, even in an urban center where they raise too much IGRs, and local governments are lucky, the IGR surpasses even their regular statutory allocation. Maybe those ones Lagos, Port City, maybe FCT and all that. But again, the challenges are commensurate with or even overwhelm the IGR. Take a local government, for instance, in Lagos Island local government. You will find out that they need to do so much more than Patani local government in terms of service delivery. So, local government as it is, except the order is reversed and more money is sent to the local government, we will not be able to achieve the founding idea of governance at the grassroots. You take care of schools, school teachers, primary health care, which is the big line for sound health. It's only when the primary healthcare system fails that you look at secondary healthcare, now the general hospitals, or the tertiary system, the teaching hospital. And then it is the first point of contact between the people and government. Local governments ordinarily they have more funds, should provide scholarship, should renovate schools, should build roads, should open up new towns and build new houses. I mean low-cost houses that is in tandem with the custom and lifestyle of the people. It is going to be very difficult, for instance, for somebody sitting in Abuja to plan for Patani, how it should develop, or anywhere in Niger Delta. And it's going to be difficult for me to plan, for instance, from Patani how to develop a place in Ondo State, because I'm not familiar with it. But the local government is familiar with its terrain, its problems, its peculiarities. So if it has the fund, it will deal with it. A classical example is during the flood in 2012. So the government is trying to help the people. And after the flood, they sent in crops for planting. No, initially it was food. So the government at the center, through the Dangote committee or whatever committee, distributed things like maize and millet and wheat to people in Patani. Some of the people have never seen millet. They don't know what it is. They've seen maize as to boil corn and eat, or to make akamu with it. They've not seen maize as, large quantities of maize. So the maize came and people had no value for it. And trailers of maize and millet were in the city, and nobody was going to use it because it's not that kind of food. Now that's because the people at the top are not connected to the people down. If we were connected and money was sent to local government, we probably would be buying starch, gari, farina, the basic food of the people. That's one. Then in my place, Patani, and indeed in the area, most of your areas where you have fresh water, you plant in the dry season and you harvest in the rainy season, which is the reverse of agriculture anywhere else in the world. If you plant in the rainy season, the swamp will kill the plant. So once the rain starts going down, farmers rush to the farmland. Of course, those farmlands are water banks that have dried up. So they go and plant, and as water starts coming up again, they harvest. Now, what we saw was bringing in cassava stems and plantain suckers at a time when the people were supposed to be harvesting. So there's always a disconnect. That's why government must fund local government with a greater percentage. And the center, like the federal government, must concentrate on the issue of national development, national infrastructure, security, the army, the police, and tertiary health centers. But sometimes they dabble into everything. Get the primary healthcare system, the national healthcare system. We want to see the federal government to play a key role all the way down. And then there's a disconnect. We need to review some of the laws that establish local government. 100% for autonomy. Now, but I try to explain what this autonomy should be. Whereas most politicians just think that autonomy is give us our money directly, it doesn't have to pass through the state account, we want to manage this money. I think it is beyond that. The 1999 Constitution has its problem. And I hope that in the review, the National Assembly should be able to expunge or review that portion that ties local government election to DSEC. And then at the same time say local government should go and is an autonomic, a third tier of government. Now look at it this way. We want to access money, directly from the federation account when we become autonomous. Yet we want to force election on the governor of the state, whose money is to develop his own state. So he has to conduct election for us. So long as the governor and the state assembly has a right to decide when elections will hold, people will emerge as transition committee chairman. People will emerge as caretaker chairman. Because if the governor of the state does not have the resources, for instance, he runs in billions of naira to run an election, he will not do it. He will not do it because the governor of the state will be thinking of state roads, state health facilities, state workers, and then he has to do election for local government. So if we are talking about autonomy, then we must say one national INEC must conduct elections in the 3-tier. The burden is taken off any state governor, and then the monies can go to the local government and they can also deal with their issues directly. But you want to manage the money, autonomy, you want to pass the election burden to the state, and then the state will say, okay, we need to manage it. If we have to run, institute what you be, we must guide you. I think that the state assemblies should legislate for the state governor, councillors should legislate for the local government, and one INEC should run a national election like it used to be in 1979. And that's when we're talking about autonomy, financial and political. Because autonomy will not be autonomy, even if the monies go to the local government directly, and the governor has influenced those who emerge as local government chairman by either appointing them or picking them or orchestrating an electoral process that his stooges emerges in local government. Then he will still direct them on how to spend those monies. And when they are failing, the House of Assembly will have cause to suspend the sitting chairman, like you saw in Obiako. So there's a lot of unconnected and disjointed policies in our constitution that I think the National Assembly must deal with. Of course, those are the reasons why in 2011 I veered for the House of Reps.
I want to ask you, how do you describe your city government? what kind of money is it to the
Okay, I was a commissioner for health in Delta State. I was an undergraduate student in medical school. I've had a stint with working with him. The governor of Delta State is a little bit, working now as a chairman, I'm a little bit overwhelmed because some of the reservations I used to have and think that this governor needs to do this and do that. I begin to see that, first, he's one governor that do not, and I say it without sense of politics to anybody, do not interfere with the funding coming to local government. Rather, he's augmenting that fund with another 600 million for teacher salary. That's what the governor is doing. So what we do, the money hits the state account, we sit in the JAC meeting, our money comes to us, hook, line and sinker. Except, and of course, otherwise, the statutory deductions for teacher salary, traditional council, taxes and all that. All the sums get to us and nothing is held back. And then I have been there for 10 months. He has not one day requested that certain money be paid to certain institutions for any reason. Rather, he has constantly supported the councils with 600 million for the 25 LGAs. Now, in terms of development, the governor is greatly misunderstood by people. People have expected that the governor should just be busy building roads, building houses, and all that. But I see a governor that is building institutions that will outlive his tenure as governor. And people, Nigerians are not used to that pattern. He's been able to look at Delta beyond, oh yeah, what are we going to do? He's been able to look at Delta with tourism. He's been able to look at Delta with multiple urban cities. Whereas in most states, you know, people will say, yeah, the governor is doing well, and you look at it, what the governor is doing is busy developing the state capital. And all the suburbs are abandoned, for instance, and nobody's talking about the suburb. So you say the governor is doing so well. In Delta State, we have a multiple city development system. Ugeli is developing, as Asaba is developing, as Warri is developing, as Ogara is developing, as Koko is developing, you know. And I hope that very soon, Burutu or Patani or Madi will be developing at that pace, you know. So, and then we have about 4 polytechnics running concurrently. Each one is an institution, it's an appendage of another in the same state. Funding 4 or 5 now, 5 now, running concurrently. And then we have the teaching hospital. Being a doctor, he's been able to transform Ogara teaching hospital, which hitherto could have been a ceremonial teaching hospital, to a center of excellence. Now referrals are done from other parts of the country to Ogara. So I see a governor walking the ropes of institutionalizing democracy and building institutions, strong institutions that will take care of itself probably when he's left. However, I also believe that in building institutions, he is also doing certain infrastructure. The difference between the governor of Delta and most other governors that people try to compare with is that he's dealing with multiple infrastructural development. And if you ask me, he has done so well in his own way.
After your tenure, what legacy do you want to leave behind?
I like to be remembered as someone who was there. And in all the offices I've occupied, whether as an activist, unionist, and indeed now as a politician, I set a new pedestal. I was the student union president for the University of Benin in 2003. I was talking with, I'm getting an award, for instance, a Distinguished Alumnus Award in November this year. Now that award, to the best of my knowledge, I'm probably going to be one of the youngest to be honored, because it's usually given to captains of industries who have accepted themselves over, you know, MDs of big bands, governors of state. The governor of my state has been giving, Fashola been giving, you know, alumni of the university who had create a mark in governance or in certain industry or in certain area, but I was fished out, not because I have been able to build an industry or been able to have a local government, but because over the period, the alumni discovered that I had a consistent pattern of setting standards, and they said they need to recognize me. Now, as a form, talking with me, the alumni, the chair committee of the awards committee was quick to say. He was a lecturer I knew in University of Benin before I left. He's a professor. He said that a young man, since you left University of Benin, well, you have to find another student union president who could guide and lead and discuss development of student welfare like you did. I also led the IYC, and I am still yet to find another one who I led the IYC, and between 2007 and 2010, I structured the peace process, negotiating with militants and government, winning over violent youth to non-violence, planning for training, debriefing, and then suggesting that the federal government needs to buy in the program. and sitting in several meetings with the government until we got amnesty and got people to disarm caches of ammunition that either to the military could not access. Today, that story is a success story. And someone just took over from me. He's yet to surpass the standard. I hope that somebody will come and do better. But I like to set a new pedestal, and if you're not serious-minded, then you have a problem beating that pedestal. And I just said now that I live in Patani, and what we're doing now was not done in the last 14 years or 12 years since democracy. I hope that the next chairman after me will be able to beat the pedestal and do just the right thing. I set a new standard, believing that somebody will come and start from there. And I should be remembered as the one who set a new standard for the people.
We actually found out something about you, that you're a very humble personality, number one. Number two, you're a good philanthropist in your own way. Where did you get these wages from?
I'm not a doctor by accident. I told my parents at the tender age of like 5 that I wanted to be a doctor. And how did it happen? I remember that I was taken to the hospital, and I saw this young man who was wearing this long white robe, attending to people, and everybody was defiant to me. And I'm like, that is the doctor? My mom said yes, and I said, I want to be a doctor. So then I forgot that I said that until I got to secondary school, not primary school, and then again I met another young guy who was a youth corps doctor member there in my village, and again I said, I want to be a doctor. And my mom said yes. She said that when you were 5. And I said, really? She said yes. I said, okay. So then I keep walking around. And you know the truth, I stayed home for 6 years after secondary school just to be a doctor, writing jam over and over until I got admitted in the University of Benin. And right from school, I started what you call the EKIYOR Foundation. And as I was doing that, I was focused at talking to EKIYOR communities about female genital mutilation, about personal hygiene. That was the focus. It was just an enlightenment organization. And I saw that a lot of other young EKIYOR boys and girls scheming. And we started going to EKIYOR communities on any small holiday that we had to talk to our brothers. And then I realized that we must do beyond the EKIYOR group. So we changed the name to Niger Delta Health and Environmental Foundation, because going to the field, we find out that the people that are not, they are mostly unkept, the environment is dirty. We say, okay, we deal with the health issues, not exclusive of the environmental issues. So we did that until I graduated from college. But talking with the people over the period and trying to make sure that people get well, I discovered that there are challenges. No health centers, no health hospitals. The shortest distance usually is 2-3 hours by boat to get health care. So I said I was going to set up a mobile practice. I wasn't going to work for the government. I was going to find a way to set up a hospital on boat and a hospital in the van. Or where necessary, a hospital in a briefcase. What that means is that I should have a briefcase that has basic life support equipment, to be able to work in a place and save a life. So in thinking about that, I registered in 2008. We started as a CBO, the Rahim Medical Outreach. And in 2009, we got formally registered as an NGO, Rahim Medical Outreach. And between 2008 and 2009, I leveraged on my contact with the politicians and got a few sponsors to fund certain medical projects, free medical projects in certain riverine communities. Now my focus was the riverine community. I'm from the riverine, whereas people were afraid of going to support the riverine communities because of the militancy. I was president of the Joint Council, and I had no problem going into the creek. So I mobilized other NGO doctors alike and a few friends of mine who also felt that because they were with me, they were protected. We moved into communities like Ojobo, Age, Bakassi, Elen Tombia, Okrika. Okrika was dreaded because of attacking. We moved in and we provided services, and even the militants appreciated the services because they couldn't come to hospital, but they could sneak into unknown to us and their militants and then have their medical care because they come in like community people. And then, so when eventually I go back to the camps, the creeks to talk to people, and somebody will say, President, that time when you go to some place, go work, I can't take treatment for you, God bless you. Like, are you serious? So we're providing community health care for communities, and it was also easy for me to now say, look, see what happened to build our communities. You need to live and complete and embrace dialogue. We can solve our problem by dialogue. So it was easy for me to also leverage on that community service to talk to the militants. And I haven't finished the IYC concentrating heavily on providing social medical care for people at affordable price. Because we are yet to have international funding, which is a very serious matter, we go cap in hand to struggle for philanthropies to support our projects, and we do reach out to people. And when we invest in our private business and we have some surpluses, we also plunge it back. So what I'm trying to say is that it's inherent. It's probably a genetic gift to do humanitarian service.
Okay, sir, you give us a song that you love so much. Maybe
I don't know how to sing, man. So I'm gonna sing. You should have. I know how to talk. I don't know how to sing. Okay, I should make a short speech. Yeah. But that's fine. I can talk. I don't sing. Because if I don't know how to sing, I would be Michael Jackson. But anyway, I think I always get a cake only on my birthday. And this is unique to have a cake on the day that's not my birthday. And I wish my lovely wife and kids were here to share this moment. I want to commend your TV crew, some Total Wise, to compliment and reward me with a cake. I know that cakes are very special, and they're only for special occasions, weddings, birthdays, and therefore I think this is like a compliment of a rebate in our humanitarian service. I can assure you that this cake will go places because I'm going to fly with part of this cake to Port Harcourt office where the staff artists. We got a cake for serving and working with the people. I thank you. I don't know the colors, I don't know what pink, ladies color, pink ladies color. But it's okay because the cake designer is not here to explain why she love the cake and I appreciate this greatly. I want to assure you that we will continue to serve humanity to the best of our ability. All things being equal and God providing the necessary strength and energy for us to do that.
What's up, put your hand there? 1, 2, 3.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much.
I won't wait. I want to eat my cake then before you shake me. You got the cake, you eat the cake. Please catch this part of it.
Wow.
Thank you.
All of us, you actually heard from my guests, and I do hope you enjoyed every bit of the interview. Like I did tell you, there's no document on this program. My very special guest for today, like I said earlier on, is a man that we're longing to meet on this program, and severally we try to put a across to him. But eventually, when he told us that he's in Abuja, I would say, well, it doesn't what it's going to cost us. It doesn't matter. We have to be here in Abuja to have this interview with him. As you are aware, we celebrate icons on this program. My guest for today, the chairman, Patani Local Government Council Area, and the state. Honorable Dr. Chris EKIYOR, and I do hope you enjoyed the interview. I want to say a very big thank you. There's many captain of industries, prominent state governors, ambassador, president that feature on this program. Thank you for immense contribution and your patronage. If not for you, maybe you can back up today as an independent producer, but we appreciate you. And of course, my very special guest, thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you, sir. You can watch this program on MITV television, on DSTV 255, NT Star Times, Go Television, and of course to our internet viewers, you can link up to our YouTube link. Until I come your way next week, same time, and next to make sure additional to have a present week ahead. Like I do say, let you stay out of trouble. Remember.